think that's okay. Good. All right. Well, I guess maybe I should say everything I was going to say again. Well, thank you everybody for showing up to this November 11th Veterans Day special Legal Shield and Field Notes webinar that we do. So today, what I was discussing was just two little changes. One is more of a change. The other one is just adding a couple of categories to linking contacts. And so that is what I was about to show you. I'll just get right into it. If anybody has any questions, please have them ready so we can basically discuss those after this. So in regarding to adding a contact to another contact, so linking them, right? Let's say like in one of these cases, these are, let's say, accounts that are group accounts, right? They're in the name of the company and they have like a point person, but let's just say that there's somebody else in the business that you want to link that person to, or link that account to. So let's go look for, I guess we can go with Peyton, right? So we can pick any of our group accounts or any regular account, right? As long as it's a contact in your CRM, you can link it to another contact. And then you're going to make your way over here to the left-hand side and select View. Scroll down a little bit, and it's going to give you this little plus button where you can now search Peyton. Then we hit Apply, and we now have access to Peyton, right? We can see him here. And so what we would do is we would basically select any of these different relationships that might be these categories that we have. So the new ones are third-party administrator and corporate support. These are just from request. I did ask if anybody had any ideas. So far, these were the two that kind of came through. So those were entered, and now you can essentially add it as a third party. You can link it. And now, at least one call. I have to check the box. I apologize. And now we can link this to this contact. So Healthcare Solution now has Peyton Young labeled as a third-party administrator. Okay. So if you're looking to like access this individual, I mean, I guess you can highlight any of these details, and then you can essentially, so if you did his name, you can simply copy it and just take it to the search. And I'm pretty sure it's going to bring back Peyton. That's if you needed to get into Peyton's account for whatever reason and make some adjustments, add a number, any details, save a note. You would be able to do that. And then I'm pretty sure it shows who he is linked to. So here you'll see the healthcare solutions as well, and his relationship with that company. So this should help for the people in question that want to have the relationship status a little bit more spot on. And please, all I would say is if you have any special requests, run them by me. I can't guarantee everything gets taken and done immediately. However, if it's brought to my attention and I can communicate it to the developers, and depending on its difficulty, sometimes things can be quickly added. It's not going to stir up too much stuff. So, there's always the possibility. But just reach out to me, let me know what it is that you have in mind, and I'm going to do my best to see how we can help. Please try to put your shoes in the mindset of everyone. So hopefully it's something that everyone can benefit, not just something that it's an isolated issue. And but it could be a good idea that works for everybody. So definitely like to hear those. However, when it's more of a just to you problem, then I'll try to do my best to help you get around that. But in some cases, there might not be something that I can do about it. But I will take every request and hear you out. And most likely I can give you an indication relatively quickly if it's something in which the developers can handle. So that was one thing. The other thing came from a Kathy Lucas. She had noticed that when we did the additional fields, right, for the contact form, right? So in order for us to have the wizard to line up with Legal Shield's data, we had to import a lot of fields, right? So that's why you can see all of these dates, LA1 email, LA2 email, AU, all of these is so that that data where it lives over there in Shield at Work has a place to come over here and can be formatted correctly. And so that is what we're talking about. When this was added, there was a handful of dates that were added as well, right? All of these dates. And there was a rule that we had in the beginning for the birthdays in which if you left the year, right? So let's say February 5th, and let's just say 1982 was the person's birthday. Because it's listed like this, it will actually show his whole birthday, right? So let's say that you don't want that, right? What you could do, and what we were doing before, is that we would label it, and this was from the developers. We set up the specific 1900, right, which we thought there shouldn't, not that there shouldn't be, but that most likely we don't have anybody with that active date of birth, right? So 1900 was the code in which you could put in 1900, delete that 1900. And what it's going to do is just when you use this as a smart tag, this date, this last production date, right? When you smart tag this in your emails or text messages, it's only going to show the month and the date, excludes the year to be visible because it has the year 1990, or sorry, 1900. That has changed. Looks like, so what Cassie did was she was using some of these other dates, right? Now, because these other dates aren't birthdays, I don't think the developers really kind of thought that that needed to be the case over here. So if there is a year and date, it'll actually show it. So that was taken into consideration. So now what we've done is we've made the code to where if it is 99, go ahead. Now it has to be, in order for the date not to show, 9996. Essentially 9996 is what you need to put into your date fields so that the year is not visible. So if you set up the correct month and the correct day and 9996, that will not allow the year to be visible. So if that information is important and you need to capture it somewhere, I would possibly say capturing it maybe in a note, right? So it would require you to put in a note, and I don't think there's any quick way to do that other than simply just put full birth date, blah, 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 and then save it and then have it as a record. Yeah. So, or just understand that 9996 is what the date needs to be. So I guess this would be something that you would want to format on the way in, right? Is to set up 9996 in order for the dates not to. So if you, I think that will be something that you would do within formatting all the cells, like you would format the date and maybe, I guess that might be a little bit of a trick, but I'm pretty sure through Excel you can make that change so that the date, so that the year is 9996. But yes, that was the change that was made. Pretty sure that all the dates are made that way. Let me see if that was the case. Let me just read it quick. Okay, so that one was where the things were added. We opened enrollment script to change the dates to 6. Interesting. I wonder if I have an email set up to this account. Let's take a look. Outlook. You are connected to, that shouldn't be. I'll have to disconnect that later. But I guess for testing purposes, we can use it. So let's just go grab somebody's and quickly test this out so that we can see. There we go. Might as well use me. Let's do a birthday. The birthday dates. I think let's do this. Oh, there sure is a lot of dates we added. Jesus. And I hope that that's it. So let's take a look. Okay. So as you can see, these ones, when it comes to the production date, the effective date, the spouse, the wedding anniversary, all of these fields, whether if you've named them something else, right, that's fine. It will utilize the 9996 code for removing the for moving the year. So I'm just curious to see if somebody were to use birthday. Did I skip it? Oh, here it is. That's interesting. And let's do 92 and save. And there you go. So I am also curious to, let me see if I can send myself an email with smart tags. And this is an email. So smart tags, you basically hold down shift and then you get access to all the dates. Let's see if we can find them. Last production date. Let's say birthday. Some other dates. Production date. That's last production date. Let's see if we can get another one in there. Access. Last service. I think that one. All right. So let's send the Jeremy date test. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to get an email shortly. But those are the two changes that we've made. I'll go ahead and send this out in more detail in an email so that you guys can be aware of it. But that is, I guess, if you wanted to keep the year hidden, 9996 is the year that you're supposed to put in. Here we go. So birth date, because it doesn't have a different, because it's not using the 9996, it'll show you the year. And for the other ones, since they are using the 9996, you can see that it withholds it. And so, yeah, small details. I know this is more important, like with the birthday, just in case, you have a young lady who most likely wouldn't like to have her year being shown, right? So I think that's where the beginning of that kind of started. But yeah, so those are the only little changes that we've made lately to the program, adding those two categories to the contact links and changing the code instead of 1900 to 9996. And so you guys should see something an email a little bit later. But yeah, that's what I had to discuss today. Not sure. Nobody really I didn't see any issues other than the 1999, sorry, the 1900 category that wasn't working for other years and other fields. And so that was understood. But that was the only issue. And then it got fixed over the weekend. And so now I am free to let you guys know what's the new code, which is 9996. And then there's no other technical issues that I found that anybody was having. So I don't really have anything to report nor to discuss. Is there anything that you guys, I know last time we were talking about, I had a gentleman who is, we tried a little bit of everything, had a little bit of success, but nothing to where it's like, okay, this can pay the bills. So we're kind of going back to the drawing board, take a little bit of what we've learned from what we were doing before, right? Which is not really kind of just sending a lot of text messaging out for at least the first part. If this is people that you've really made good connections with, well, then I would maybe say, hey, maybe sending text messages might work. But if this is, people that you've, just met in a passing or somebody gave you their information, or if you sourced them, then not suggesting doing text messages or just doing a small batch at a time. Why? Because if you use an action plan that has 6 to 7 emails and activities and same amount of activities, emails and text message, which could mean 6 to 7 text messages. And if it's for a week or 15 days, you could really consume really large portions. So with just 100 contacts, you would essentially kind of smoke through all of your you'd smoke through 600 credits, which if the messages were all within the one segmented message, well then no harm, no foul. But just in case one of those were 2 or 3 or even 4 in some cases, and you guys didn't pay attention, you most likely with that just one campaign could totally clear out all of your credits and then not have anything for birthdays, not have anything for, now I'm talking strictly text messaging. You'd still be able to send out emails and things like that. So you could still do, a birthday email and still contact people via email. However, email has a less success rate on opening. Now, if you have a really good rapport and you're having a conversation with, I don't think people would not just, open your email. I think they would, especially if having a conversation with you. And you said that you were going to send them that out, and then by maybe you following up the following day, maybe that might, help things. But if it's straight up just a campaign, just trying to reach out to somebody, for whatever reason, I think that could be counterproductive. So what we're doing is obviously starting off with like emailing, right? The other thought had came to mind was building a survey that helps you either over the phone go through the survey, or it gets emailed and possibly text messages, right? Sending it via text message, so that people can fill it out. If they can fill it out and they can hopefully honestly give you, the best information they have, it could give you insight. They might feel more comfortable speaking to a form than, spending all this time with you on the phone. So it could be real helpful. However, that's where I'm pretty sure, depending on everybody's situation, it could be a little bit different what they want the form to do. But it's got to be doing some qualifying for you. You know what I mean? Like finding whether if a person has a business, whether if a person is, the head of the family. Hey, by chance, how big is your family? You know, any kids in school? Any kids that are older than 18? I think all of these questions help you guys kind of better find the right product for them, or at least put multiple different products in for them, in front of them, such as the family plan, the home supplements, and the small business plan. All of those, I would say, by you knowing and having that information in the survey, it could give you some real good information as to what kind of campaign should I put together for this gentleman. You know, is it more small business oriented based on the way that he filled out the questionnaire? So I think those questions definitely have to be well thought through, so that you're, possibly maybe not asking the same thing twice, maybe just in a different way, because obviously you don't want to bother anybody. You want to be as concise as you can with your questions, and hopefully it has maybe like a rhyme and reason to it. That way they kind of don't feel that they're just answering random things, to then later on get bombarded with stuff. But definitely knowing, maybe possibly what's their preferred communication style, maybe know why, if this survey was like linked to an ad or something like that, or linked to some outreach that you did, possibly what caused you to look into Legal Shield, right? And see if you can leave it like a blank, and see if they can fulfill, oh, I'm looking, I just got in an accident and I'm looking for this, or, my landlord's trying to kick me out and I don't know what to do, and I don't want to pay a lot of money to a lawyer that I don't have, funds for. So maybe through those, them filling out the questions can give you some really good data, insight to what this person's looking for. That way you can have more, targeted conversations about the products, and hopefully that gives you just a little bit more traction and be able to, pipeline these people and close them when they're ready, is what I would say. So yeah, so that's kind of, where we're at with him and what we need to do. Of course, we haven't kind of started yet, so I'm not sure if it's just, the holiday seasons and getting close to the end of the year that everybody's maybe taking a little bit light. However, that's fine by me. I am basically here waiting for whenever you guys have an issue that I can help you with. And so please do use that is my phone number. That is my email address. You can email to support@Fieldnotes as well. I still get copied on those emails. So if I see any of our Legal Shield, I'll be sure to step in and help you guys there. I'm trying to think maybe, I'm in my signatures, you'll always see my Book Me link. So if you guys have, some questions, maybe you want some one-on-one, maybe you want to bring up your specific CRM and how I can help you dial it in a little bit more. I think that's key. So for the ones that haven't, feel free to reach out to me so that I can help you guys with that. But yeah, that's what I had. Does anybody have any questions? I do see we have a new person on. It would be great to know maybe what state and your name, and maybe who who told you about our service. That way I could maybe follow up with you. If you want to put that in the chat, you're welcome to do so. But yeah, essentially grateful for all the veterans who've laid their life down for our freedom. So that's something that I just kept on hearing a lot of talk about the Veterans Day, and I just was like, "What is it? That coming up?" And then, yes, indeed, it was. And so we're definitely grateful for that. I also got an email that's going out to everybody, all the all of our customers. So you guys should see a couple of emails from me today, minimum. But yeah, if you guys don't have any more issues or any concerns that you'd like to bring up, if it's personal and you just want to reach out to me personal, feel free to do so. You've got that information there, or you can follow up with one of the emails I've sent you guys in my signature. There's a book me link, and that has quite a bit of my schedule online so people can book time. And so, yeah, I thank you everybody for showing up. It was definitely a pleasure having you guys come here. And I guess I don't think there's anything next Thursday. I know for Thanksgiving, we'll definitely be taking a break. But for this 14th, I don't see. So yeah, so it was a pleasure. I definitely thank everybody. If you guys have any questions, you know where to find me. And you guys have a great day. All righty. Bye-bye now, guys.